This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of RLYG Gold, Mr. Todd Hilditch. Todd, how are you today?
I'm outstanding, Gerardo. How are you doing?
I am excellent as well. Thank you so much for asking. You just announced the remaining 2021 drill results from your project that seems now, and you did a great job of highlighting this in the headline, seems to be an analog to the Bullfrog Mining District, which is significant in itself. I spoke with you off air a bit. I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that it now looks like you have a whole heck of a lot more targets than you did at the beginning of this program. I would love for you to provide a bit of context on the program, what you learned, and then of course we can talk about what comes next.
Absolutely. Thanks. And yeah, the news release today was really a culmination of our initial drill work that was a confirmation of some of the work that was done 11, 12 years ago. And that was more of is this a Fort Knox style, Kinross deposit up in Alaska, or is it something else? So we have been able to, through our first 12 holes, 10 of which had gold in them. Mm-hmm. The first 3, we had up to 17 grams per ton. These we've had up to 2.63 grams per ton. So we're getting good grade. We were drilling vein sets, so we were never expecting 100-meter type holes of low grade. It was always about understanding the vein sets and the geology subsurface. So as you say, we've got those out now. We're happy with them. And some of the other work that we're doing is actually identifying a secondary system. The first system is this reduced and intrusive related, and now we're looking at a possible of an epithermal type system, sort of away from this first area we were working on. So yeah, it's coming together nicely.
You mentioned in the release having both styles of gold mineralization throughout the property and the potential to expand this project into a district scale opportunity. Walk me through a little bit how you go about prioritizing that here in 2022.
Yeah, so when we finished in September, it was really specific drilling to a small area of where most of the previous operator work had been. And we're talking about sort of less than a kilometer by a kilometer in area, if you will. So getting that completed, and even though the assay labs have been tremendously slow, which everybody will tell you, it gave us 3 to 4 months to step back and look at bigger picture. Mapping, sampling, soil grids, things that you would do in a generative sort of basis. And because we've got 21 square kilometers, getting off that main core area of drilling was probably the best thing. And maybe the slowness of the lab helped us because it gave a real unique opportunity to spend good long months trying to put the rest of the puzzle together. And that's when we were able to identify, soil grid. 1.4 gram per ton gold in soils is pretty impressive. Some of the rock samples that we've announced previously, up to 72 grams per ton, we continue to get high grade at surface, not just in the main area, but well off into the bigger 21 square kilometer package. So this is where we had the opportunity to say, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't just one type of system. There could be a separate system that is akin to the Bullfrog Mining District, which is 30, 40 kilometers down the road on strike. So, this iterative process that the junior companies go through, drilling, mapping, sampling, soil grid, geophysics, we are waiting for the interpretation on. That's when we would take all of those, pieces of information, pull them together, and then that will identify, so where next in this big property package do we want to focus? We do have multiple additional new targets that we wouldn't have known about before had we not done this iterative work in the fall.
It sounds like, in an odd way, and again, you mentioned this, but the delays with the labs that everyone has been experiencing have led to some really, really quality field work. I imagine you have a lot of data to interpret here over the next coming months, but I also imagine that you have to be really excited about the next drilling program.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, even if we look at the main core area, and included the news release was a map of some of our soils and rock samples. I mean, within about 2K of where we did our drilling, we're getting the same grade at surface, anywhere between 10 and up to 80 grams per ton. So, you take that knowledge and then you apply those other iterations, as you just suggested. And then you kind of put it in a bowl and you mix it up and say, okay, now that they're on top of each other, where do we go next? And we do have 2, maybe 3 extremely high priorities, and then 3 or 4 that still need some additional work. So we've identified 7 sort of new areas that we want to spend some time on for, and they're not all going to get drilled this year, of course, but we would expect that a minimum of 2 of the targets we could look at getting drilled at some point in 22, once we've completed all of the interpretation and review.
Looking forward to that interpretation and that review. Looking forward to having you back on. Thank you so much for your time today, Todd.
No, thank you, Gerardo.
All right, we'll chat soon.
Cool.